Nearly $1 million worth of Games Workshop product almost ended up in a landfill. Plus, we're going to talk about how Secret Lairs might be going a little overboard now. All this and more in this week's Hobby News. My name's Angela, and welcome to Hobby Night. Games Workshop had an awesome preview this past weekend for their Warhammer Championships, and I want to talk about my favorite of all of the announcements because there were a lot, and pretty much I was happy with almost all of them, but the Tomb Kings, man, are they really starting to ramp up what we are getting from them, and I cannot wait to see more. So without further ado, let's watch the trailer for the upcoming Tomb King release, and then we'll talk a little bit more about where you can find my reactions for everything else. Because this thing looks majestic. It is a gigantic, like, undead, bony, crocodile, alligator, dragon creature with an awesome headset, or headdress, I guess, on him, and then a majestic looking pharaoh at the, like, in the seat, or you can also put a Tomb King High Priest in there, which honestly might be what I end up doing, because we'll take a look at that as well. And I think they both look fantastic. Now, the thing that I love the most about this model, outside the fact that it's Tomb Kings and we're returning to the old world, and who doesn't love that, is the fact that you see him there, that kitty. The kitty on the back, yeah, he's so good. Now, when Games Workshop was actually revealing this at the preview, they refused to show that cat more than just in this singular trailer, and that drove me absolutely bonkers, because I was like, Games Workshop, all I want to do is just see how cute that undead hairless cat is and look at him. Look how majestic he is. Now, this is the alternate build that you can also build through this kit. And I love when Games Workshop does this, especially for some of their larger kits, because you want to have some flexibility and some kit bashability in there. And I really think they're setting us up for that, which I enjoy a huge amount. Now, if you want to see the rest of the reveals, as well as my reactions to everything that we got to see, I would highly encourage you to check out the VOD that is currently available on my channel, where I did a live watch along of all of the reveals. And good Lord, it's a loud stream. I screamed a lot. There were some cool reveals during this thing, and the Tomb Kings by far were one of them. And then honestly, the other ones that were just bloody fantastic were the Night Lords. If you haven't seen the new Night Lords Kill Team set, go check it out. Go check out the whole stream. You can watch it on demand, and then let me know what is your favorite reveal from this past preview.
Hey guys, just jumping into the video to remind you to hit that subscribe button and bell icon for notifications so you never miss future content on the channel. And if you're into the spicier side of the hobby, you can find a link to my Only Fanatics down in the link tree below in the description. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Recently, Games Workshop tried to throw away almost $1 million worth of Games Workshop products completely unopened, new in box, and just being sent to the dumpster. And I want to talk about this situation a little bit because it's a weird one. So here you can see a picture of the pallets that were being taken to the dumpster that ended up being saved and are now apparently being sold on secondhand markets like eBay and such, where you can possibly get some of the product that Games Workshop was trying to just throw out, which is very strange. But there are sometimes reasons for companies wanting to do this and get rid of product en masse like this. Now, it is a little bit strange because the numbers are really sort of big here. I feel like we can see here we've got like 120 Heart of Gur, 100 kill teams of Morok, 160 Warcry terrain sets, 200 Raven Guard battle forces, 400 Ash Waste sets. Just like, I assume the big core set, 400 of them. That seems ridiculous. And then the one that really stands out to me as part of this being like sort of a weird thing for them to be tossing are the Forge World Horus Heresy character boxes. You know, the ones that come in those fancy black boxes because they're part of that collector series. Well, they were also getting rid of some of those, as you can see here. And you can see the kill team here and the Warcry here. So there were a lot of different products being disposed of. Now, this is not super uncommon. Companies obviously are going to throw some stuff out if the product hasn't been selling. And while there are some products within this list that I definitely think could be a, well, Necromunda, Warcry, and even Kill Team are not necessarily the most popular of Games Workshop products, and even White Scars and Raven Guard and AdMech are not necessarily the most popular of the factions within 40k, but it does still seem kind of weird that they're tossing all this, especially those Forge World ones. And I have a theory that either there's some defects in some of these products that we're not aware of, which means that if you do end up buying some of these secondhand, well, maybe be careful because we don't know what's actually wrong with the product. There could also be something else wrong with these because, for example, when I used to work at Games of Berkeley, we ended up having to take a huge amount of Games Workshop products also to the dump of basically unopened stuff. But the reason we did that was because the store had a leak, it got flooded, and then a bunch of really nasty roof water fell onto all of that product, damaging the cardboard, which these don't look damaged. They're all in plastic still. So in theory, they should not be contaminated in any way, but it does make me go, is there something wrong with this product that we're not aware of? Or is Games Workshop just being wasteful because they haven't been able to sell this product and now they're just having to get rid of it because they need to make more room in their warehouses? Either way, it's kind of a crappy situation to be in, and I hope that we don't see a huge amount of this more because seeing product, especially plastic like this, getting wasted, even though I do think it was meant to be going to a recycling plant, is really just sad. It hurts me. Like my hobbyist inside is just like, oh, but look at it all. It's just perfect for painting. Why aren't we doing anything with it? But I don't know. Do you think this stuff should be saved? Do you think Games Workshop should find other ways to offload product that maybe hasn't been selling as well? Or do you think there's something wrong with this product? It's defective in some way, and now a bunch of people might end up buying a lot of defective products on eBay or other, reselling sites like that? Let me know down in the comments. I will admit, this next topic is something that Games Workshop surprised me with, because we've all remember when the Necrons had clear translucent green plastics for their guns, and that was always really cool, right? We all like translucent plastics because it gives this really neat effect, especially on ghost models. Well, Games Workshop has heard our cries for transparent plastics to return, and they're bringing the Warriors of the Dead and the King of the Dead and Herald kits back in a translucent plastic, and I love the look of these. Now, these models have been painted. They've added a white dry brush to sort of enhance the translucent nature of the plastic, and I think it works super, super well. But I just think this is a great idea. I would love, absolutely adore to see Games Workshop translate this design with these Lord of the Rings ghosts and put that into the Night Haunts for Age of Sigmar. Or perhaps whatever they might end up doing for undead in Old World, although I don't know if we're going to get too much of that in the future. But when it comes to the Night Haunts, I would love to see some of this translucent plastic being used on them, especially some of their just basic warriors, because with how ghostly and like tenderly their cloth is, I think it would look really awesome, and I'd love to see what hobbyists do with it, because translucent plastics adds a unique element to your painting process, and I want to see how people are going to tackle playing with it, enhancing it, and really making it glow. Will people put lights in these and actually make them glow? I have no idea, but I look forward to seeing them when they come out. You guys are familiar with Secret Lairs, right? The Magic the Gathering product that is a sort of limited release sold only on this one website, and you have a very short window in which you can buy it. Well, I think that product line has gone absolutely bonkers, because the latest sets that they've announced is a Jurassic Park tie-in, but specifically it focuses on like Jeff Goldblum and some of the dinosaurs, and I just think this is hilarious. Like, what are these cards? Why? Who's gonna want? I mean, yeah, it's sexy Jeff Goldblum when he's laying like with his shirt open in Jurassic Park, but like, who is actually collecting these cards? Who wants to play with these? Are there people actually using them, or is this a pure collector's product? I personally think it's a pure collector's product, and I think it's just, there's just too much of it now. There's too much. We've had dinosaurs. I do actually really like the Jurassic Park cards with the dinosaurs on them, because they make them a little bit more, I don't know, in theme to the world. And while it is cool, I just don't see people wanting to play with these. They're not the standard cards. You can't use them in standard or commander or any of the more popular like draft styles that are possible. So who is this actually for? Is it just for collectors? And why are they being so random with some of their like themings? Because we have Jurassic Park, but then we also have the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We also have Lara Croft, which this is a really interesting one to me, because don't get me wrong, I get Lara Croft is a popular brand, but I didn't think this version of Lara Croft was specifically the really popular one. I know these games have done decently, but I know that like the redesign and everything was a little bit strange and people weren't as keen on it. So who is actually really interested in it? Are there enough Lara Croft fans out there for for Magic and Wizards of the Coast to justify continuing to produce these? Obviously, there must be. But then we get to stuff like this, which I think is probably one of the cooler things that Secret Lairs does, because they do work with just artists to do stuff for them. And this is a watercolor artist who does like a lot of surrealist art. And I think it's really cool. The name is Jesse Ledoux. I believe I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. And it's neat to see these, but again, I just don't know if there's a huge market for these. And honestly, some of these are kind of hard to read with just how busy they all are. So if you're a Magic the Gathering fan and you actually play the game and you've collected Secret Lairs, like what is the appeal to you? Have they gone too far? Is it too much at this point? Or are you like, no, please just keep giving me more Wizards of the Coast? I'd love to know. All right, that has been it for this week in hobby news. Do let me know what your thoughts are down below on Games Workshop products being saved from a dumpster and possibly being resold online. Also, what was your favorite reveal from the recent Warhammer preview? Personally, for me, it was the Tomb Kings and the Night Lords, but I'd love to know your thoughts down below. I have been Angela, and before I head out, I do want to give one final thank you to my patrons for making it so content like this can continue to happen. Without your guys' support, we just would not be doing this, so thank you very, very much. And I hope you all have a wonderful hobby night.